as we think about the most meaningful, accessible options for interpreting services, truly the most meaningful is in-person interpreting. And in-person interpreting would involve an interpreter who has been trained specifically in educational interpreting, who is aware of the code of ethics, who is aware of how those services should be provided in a wide variety of situations. So in education, interpreting situations can vary from an IEP, special education meeting, to administrative conference around expulsion. It can be a parent-teacher conference. It can be a workshop that's being held at the school for families. There's such a wide variety of opportunities to connect with families. So in thinking about the most meaningful option, those interpreters would literally come in and be able to provide the services. Considering the virtual environment in which many of us find ourselves at this moment, the pivot to virtual interpreting has been really important to be able to maintain that connection with families and maintain that communication. So using those in-person interpreters now in a virtual environment on various platforms allows them to either provide consecutive interpreting services within the platform, or B, to provide simultaneous services. So there are some platforms that support simultaneous services, and there are other creative ways to continue to provide simultaneous services, for example, with external phone lines, for those families to be supported. Moving into the telephonic interpreting can be meaningful as well. It is much less personal, however, because you are literally making a phone call, either a third-party phone call to connect with the family to be able to communicate them with an interpreter on the line, or in instances when there's a face-to-face opportunity to connect with the family, the telephonic interpreter can be on the line live to be able to facilitate that communication. So definitely an opportunity to have accurate communication because those telephonic interpreters are trained, but it's a little bit less personal because the interpreter is on the line and not face-to-face. There is definitely a broad spectrum of other services that are available. Those are definitely the top tier and are the most meaningful for families, and also, quite frankly, are those that most align with what the guidance is telling us to ensure that we're providing for families. As many people are aware, there are lots of free apps and texting services available. What I would recommend is that when you are exploring different options for texting and communicating with families through those types of communication methods, that you're really exploring what is their level of accuracy. We, as schools and school districts, never want to affront families with incorrect and inaccurate translation. That is really fundamental to this work, is ensuring that the information that we're providing is accurate and that it is vetted.